have a message for traditional Catholics. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're returning, then welcome back. If you are new, I hope you subscribe. We are talking today specifically to fellow Catholics, and I want to talk about what I'm seeing as like a form of pride almost among traditional Catholics. Now, I sometimes label myself a traditional Catholic. I love all things traditional. I veil, I have a miraculous medal on, I absolutely love Latin. I'm into the incense, I like the bells, I love the organ, I love the chanting, I kneel for Eucharist no matter where I am. There's something else I do too, and I absolutely love it when the priests face east. So yesterday, I was on the Sensus Fidelium Facebook group, and I really enjoy most of the content by Sensus Fidelium. I absolutely love everything Father Ripperger says. He's really deepened my faith. However, the comments under this post regarding the Immaculate Conception were just terrible. There's really no other way to say it. They were saying things along the lines of, Catholics who attend the NO Mass just don't even know anything anyway. So of course they're changing the date. They're not going to show up for a Holy Day of Obligation anyway. Just these really visceral anti-Catholic comments coming from these Catholics who are blessed to be able to have the ability to attend a traditional Latin Mass, but they're almost looking down at their noses at the rest of us who either by choice or by necessity have to attend an ordinary form of the Mass. And it's been bugging me ever since I really started my YouTube channel and I found out about SSX or whatever they're called, SPX. There's some, the people who think that the new Mass isn't valid, which it is. And it's, even Father Ripperger has spoken about traditional Latin Massers saying, you guys, you are so lucky that you have been called by grace to realize this form of the Mass is beautiful and reverent and something that we should arguably all be participating in. He's like, but there is a sense of pride that runs through those of you who by grace have found this beauty, and we have to be so careful not to fall into really the story of the publican and the tax collector, right? So if you go to Luke 18:9-14, you get the parable of the Pharisee, not the publican, the Pharisee and the tax collector. And the Pharisee goes to church, he goes, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I'm not like these other sinners. Thank you for making me so wonderful. And then you got the tax collector in the back who won't even raise his head saying, God, forgive me, I'm a sinner. And the sinner goes home, with the grace of God. And the Pharisee doesn't. And so you can say, well, we're at the right Mass. We're at this beautiful traditional Mass. But if you come at it from this place of better than thou, please be careful, because that is never a place that we want to be. Jesus said, I am meek and humble of heart, right? Meek and humble of heart. It is a grace, it is a gift from God if you are allowed and able and willing to attend a traditional Latin Mass. I have never been to one. I've heard they're amazing. We had Mass today, obviously it's Sunday, and we had Mass today, and the Latin it speaks to your heart, right? It just speaks to your soul in a way that the vernacular doesn't. And I love the chanting and everything being in this musical, way of speaking. It really does. It just filled my soul with joy, and it really fed me in a beautiful way that, the ordinary vernacular spoken Mass sometimes doesn't. But again, those are my feelings and those aren't facts. And so while it was a gift today to have a Mass that was more traditional, that doesn't mean that all the other Masses are invalid, and it definitely doesn't mean that the Catholics who attend the ordinary form of the Mass are any less reverent or any less Catholic or any less knowledgeable than those who attend the traditional Latin Mass. And it really has to do with humility. What I want to say, like my main point here, is if you attend the traditional Latin Mass, if you are considered a traditional Catholic, please, one, thank God, right, that you have this ability and this pull from, your soul towards the beauty, right? Because Catholicism is beautiful. I think Bishop Barron is amazing at really breaking open the beauty of Catholicism. And Latin is beautiful. And it speaks in a way to our souls that I don't think any other language can. And we know that, the devil doesn't like Latin and all those kinds of things. But whether your priest speaks in Latin or not doesn't invalidate either your participation in the Mass and definitely not the sacraments, right? So if you're so lucky enough to get to be a traditional Latin Masser, use that grace to educate others in a kind, in a unifying way. If you think that Catholics who attend an ordinary Mass don't know anything, then you hop on to this kind of, to film on camera, start a YouTube channel, and start teaching. Sign up for religious ed at an ordinary Mass church and start teaching. Teach your children. Have your children learn how to teach others. Everyone running to the traditional Latin Mass in this way of like, well, this is the right way to do it, so I'm going to go over here and do it. You're leaving the rest of the Catholics who maybe didn't have good catechesis. We know there were generations, like I was one of them, who did not get a strong foundation in Catholicism. They stopped using the Baltimore Catechism, right? And they started using these workbooks. And they're so watered down and they're so uninspiring, and they don't talk about the beauty and the importance and spiritual warfare, and they don't talk about anything really except like this basic understanding, which is good, but it doesn't speak to the heart sometimes. And if you're on fire, right, if God has kindled that fire within you, find a way to teach and not to judge, because it breaks my heart to see any Catholic speak disparagingly about any other Catholic. I just think that we really just need to educate, okay? And we need to, if you feel compelled to make a snarky comment about somebody else, sorry you guys, the lighting just got really intense with the sun in my window, but I'm gonna keep going. But if you feel like you feel like you want to talk down to somebody who doesn't attend a traditional Latin Mass, I really hope that you realize that's a sin, and that is sinful, and that is the devil using his number one tool, which is pride, right? I'm so great. These people don't even know what they're doing. And trust me, we've all been there. I've seen things in church and said, "Oh, I'm glad I know how to do that properly." But then I need to take a step further and say, how can I help other Catholics? Not like, "Oh, I'm glad I don't do it like them. Thanks God for, making me so much better." No. But more like, wow, I'm noticing that a lot of Catholics don't realize that they need to genuflect on their right knee. Maybe I need to make a video on literally just that one thing. Hey, FYI, we're all supposed to genuflect on the right knee. Or I taught my 6th graders the other day how to genuflect, right knee. And at least one of them was like, oh, because they don't know, because you can't know something unless you're taught, or unless the Holy Spirit is compelling you to learn. And not everyone's there. And so every person has that walk. We as Catholics who have been given the grace to have had that opening, whether you're a convert and you're just like, you get it, or you're, someone who's been Catholic their whole life and finally something clicks, or maybe you've been brought up really well in the church and you've had a really solid foundation from your family, and you know all this stuff. Find a way to share and not to break people down. It's all about charity. It's really what it comes down to. Whatever comes out of your mouth, like Jesus said, right, is what really condemns you. It's not what goes in, but it's what comes out. And especially on social media, for some reason people think they can be nasty for fun or just whatever. Just check yourself. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I just had to say this. It's been on my heart for a while, and just yesterday, reading those comments, it was just so discouraging. When there's so much spiritual warfare going on, when we need to be praying for our Pope, when we need to be praying for our bishops, when we need to be praying for a return of things like the altar rail, right? We can pray for these things, for sure. But don't you want all Catholics to be able to experience the beauty of a traditional Latin Mass or the extraordinary form of the Mass? Don't you want that? So pray for it. Don't push people away. You know, I can't imagine if I was a new convert and I saw some of the things that were being written on social media, I would be so confused. Wait, I thought I joined the one true church. So why are people saying that my Mass isn't valid? Stop saying that. That's such a joke. Jesus said in Matthew 16:13-20, the gates of hell will not prevail against my church. If you trust his word, then you trust that that won't happen. The war has already been won, but the battle is really truly in here, in our hearts. Are we aligning our will with God's? Or are we sticking somehow into some kind of vice? Are we sitting in pride? Because it feels good. It feels good to judge other people. I hope it doesn't, but we're human and we have concupiscence, and so I know from personal experience that sometimes it feels good. I'm better than everybody else. That's just so wrong. So, you guys, God bless. Remember to know God, love God, and do God's will. I hope this is one of many videos I'm going to be doing in the near future. Thank you so much for helping me get to 8,000 subscribers. I am just floored. I love it. I feel like I owe you guys so many videos because you have been so good to me and subscribed and clicked through and used my links to help, you know, to access the resources I talk about, and I'm so thankful. So, sorry there's this weird pattern on me from the sun. I'm going to just film this video. I'm just going to publish this video anyway. And hopefully I'll have more than one video out soon. So, God bless. Have a very beautiful day. Continue to know God, love God, and do God's will. And that means to be kind to one another. God bless.